In this video, we're going to have a look at some of the simple angle rules that we can use in determining whether two shapes are similar in writing the proofs. So my first rule is complementary angles. And when we've got a right angle that is divided by a line to make two separate angles, the two angles that are formed are going to add up to 90 degrees. So if I know the value of one, I can find the value of the other by subtracting the known value from 90 degrees. The second rule we're going to have a look at is supplementary angles. And this time we're looking at two angles that form a straight line. So similar to complementary angles, where we have that, angle A and angle B, angle A plus angle B is going to add up to 180 degrees. So if we know the value of A, but we don't know the value of B, we can go 180 subtract our known value, which will give us the value of our second angle. The third rule that we're going to have a look at is vertically opposite angles. So where we have two lines that intersect, the angles that are formed and are vertically opposite are going to be the same. So this angle here and this angle here are vertically opposite, and they're going to equal the same. And this angle here and this angle here are vertically opposite, and they will also equal the same. Alright, so continuing on, now we're going to have a look at some rules that apply when we've got a set of two lines that are parallel to each other. And the first one we're looking at is corresponding angles. When we're looking at corresponding angles, we are looking for a letter F that can be formed from the lines. So we can see here that using the two parallel lines, I can form a letter F. Where I can form that letter F, the angles in corresponding positions, so in here and in here, are going to equal the same. Now when I'm writing rules relating to corresponding angles, I can use the symbol that looks a little bit like an F to let the user know that I am saying it because of the corresponding angle rule whenever you see that symbol. Looking at the second rule to do with parallel lines, and this one is alternative angles. And this one we're looking for something similar to a letter Z. So you can see our letter Z that has been formed. And when we form that letter Z, the angles on the inside of our Z, so this angle here and this angle here, are going to be equal. And when you're writing proofs and you want to use alternate angles as your reasoning, you can use the symbol that looks a little bit like a Z. And the last rule that we're going to have a look at is co-interior angles. The co-interior angles is where we can form a U using our parallel lines. And the rule is that the two angles that are formed within the U shape, so angle B plus angle A plus angle B is going to add up to 180 degrees. So that's a summary of the angle rules that you will need to know to help you write your proofs for your similar shapes. So now let's have a look at a couple of quick examples of how we can use these rules to calculate the value of angles. So looking at A, I've got a set of parallel lines, and using those lines, I can form the letter F, albeit an upside down letter F. So because I can form the letter F, I can use the corresponding angle rule, and to know that A is going to equal the same as 70 degrees, because my two angles are in corresponding positions within my letter F. And if I was writing that as part of a proof, I would need to include the symbol at the end. So moving on to B, And this time I want to find the value of x. Now looking at my parallel lines, I can form a letter U. So I can use the co-interior angle rule. And using the co-interior angle rule, I know that x plus 45 is going to equal 180. So x is going to equal 180 minus 45. So x is equal to 135 degrees. And I know that x plus 45 is equal to 180 because of the co-interior rule. So I can just include my symbol. Having a look at the last one, C, with my two parallel lines, I can form this time a letter Z. And using the alternate angle rules, I know that this angle here and this angle here are going to be the same. So I can say that angle T is equal to 112 degrees because of my alternate angle rule. And I just write the symbol to say that that is what rule I'm using to prove that angle T is equal to 112 degrees. So let's have a look at one more example. In this example, I want to calculate the value of x and the value of y. And I've been given a set of two lines that are parallel. So automatically I am thinking, can I use my F rule, my U rule, or my Z rule? So I'm looking to see if I can form those letters using my lines that are parallel. So I can see that for angle X, I can use that as part of a U. So I can use the co-interior rule to say that angle X plus an angle 115 degrees is going to equal 180 degrees, writing my symbol for the co-interior rule. So I can say that X is going to equal 180 minus 115. So X is going to equal 65 degrees. So I've used the co-interior rule to find out the value of X. Now I need to have a look at the value of Y. And I can do that by forming a letter F, albeit the upside down F. So I can use my corresponding angle rule to know that this angle and this angle is going to equal each other. So I can say that Y is equal to 75 degrees using my corresponding angle rule.